right. Welcome everyone to my class on sharing files via iCloud. Well, not files, but in addition to files, photos, events. Pretty much everything that we can share with iCloud. So we're going to look at how we can share events, photos, and I'm going to mute everyone here just so you know. Okay, there we go. So we're going to look at how we can share events, make a shared calendar, reminders, like you could do a grocery list. That's how Beth and I use it. Photos, of course. Files, you can use iCloud to share files. And we're going to look at this on both on the Mac, the iPad, and the iPhone. So we're going to kind of see how it all works. I think what you're going to see as I go through this, once you figure out how it works on one, you're going to see it's a very similar pattern in how it works on all of the devices. So, and then we'll look at a few other iCloud kind of things and little things that we can do with iCloud. So, before we get started, I have to do my little thing about me for people that are new here. So I'm Dan Wassink. Dan's Tutorials, everything Dan's Tutorials, and basically I have 30 years publishing, 30 plus years, and most of that is in magazine publishing, print publishing, but online publishing is growing on it because I've been doing this for about 10 years. Started out in the App Store and moved to online and everything in between. I'm a former Apple genius. For about 3 years, I worked as an Apple genius, and I still work at a local school. It's probably about 1.5 miles away from where I live. I do work about 8 to 12 hours a week there, helping them out there. The two tech people that do work there, I also worked with at Apple as geniuses. So they have 3 geniuses there, and they do use all Apple devices. iPads up till 5th grade, and then 6th grade on up is iPads. And my goal is to slowly get them on more and more iPads. So figuring out how we can do that. So that's a little bit about me. If you like what you see, check out my site. And if you like the site, I can just join. It does help out. I'm a small business. I'm the only one and that runs this thing, and I'd appreciate it. So that's a little bit about me. Now let's get started with why you are here. If I can get this thing to go. There we go. All right, the first thing we're going to look at, let me move my keyboard here. First thing we're going to look at here is sharing between devices with iCloud. So we're going to start a little bit small here. Basically, and everyone probably knows how to do this, so this will go pretty quick, but I just want to kind of cover it. With iCloud, there's multiple ways that you can share. Do you want to share your iCloud account with your different devices? So then when you are entering an event on your iPad, it shows up on your Mac or on your iPhone, or if you have multiple iPads, it shows up on multiple iPads, however you want to use it. You enter in a note. You can find that on all your different devices. So that's when you're sharing your iCloud account among all your different devices. You are not sharing this with anyone else. It's just among your different devices. And the way that you do that is you just log in to the iCloud account or with your Apple ID to all your different devices, and you use that same iCloud account. Pretty simple. I'm going to go to my Mac here, and we're going to take a quick look at this. Essentially, all you have to do is just go into your system preferences here. So I just go up to System Preferences. And then it's kind of changed. I'm using macOS Monterey. I believe they changed this in Big Sur. Earlier versions of macOS, they actually had an iCloud little preference pane. These are called preference panes. And with Big Sur and Monterey, they change it to Apple ID. This is where you find all of your iCloud settings. So all I have to do is just click on this, and then you're going to see iCloud. And from here, what you're going to see is all of the different things or services, I would call them services, that iCloud offers. So, we have photos, Keychain, Icloud Drive, contacts, calendars, reminders, so a number of different items here. Third-party apps can also tie into this. So if you have a third-party app that uses iCloud, you may see that in here as well. But these are the basic services of Apple. With photos, what we're able to do is share photos. Right now, it's just going to share among my different devices because I'm signed in with my different, same Apple ID on my different devices here. But we're also able to create shared albums and share those with other people, and even public albums where if they don't have an Apple device, they can click on a link and they'll be able to view it through a browser. Your keychain, this is where all of your passwords are saved. So being that this is checked, I enter a password on my Mac, it is going to be shared among my iPad and my iPhone. You cannot share this with other people, obviously. These two here are, one of them's in beta, Private Relay and Hide My Email. These are relatively new, and if you don't pay for iCloud, you're not going to see these. I'm not going to cover those because those don't really have anything to do with sharing. We also have iCloud Drive, which is much like Dropbox, Google Drive. Basically what you're able to do is store all of your files in the cloud, and then you can create a shared folder. If you want to share a file with someone, you can create a shared folder, and then they can access anything that's in that folder. We also have our contacts and calendars. With contacts, we can share our contacts among our different devices for ourselves, so I can access all of my contacts from any one of my devices, but I am not able to share any contacts or group of contacts with anyone else. So let's say I had a family group in my contacts app. I would really like to share that with Beth so she has, but you can't do that. Contacts are exclusive to the Apple ID. But with calendars, reminders, and notes, what we can do is we can create a shared calendar. Anything we put in there is going to be available to anyone that subscribes to that calendar. Beth and I have that. We have a family calendar. Reminders, this is how we use our grocery list. So we put in there what we want for groceries, and if either one of us pick it up or put anything on there, it goes on to both devices. We're sharing one list among two people. We can share our notes. So you can create a shared note. We have Safari. We can't do anything with that. All we can do is share our bookmarks among our different devices. We can't share it with other people. So as you're going to see, some things you can share and some things you can't. News, stocks, home, and Siri are pretty much like Safari. We can't really share it with anyone else, only among our different devices. You do not have to use any of these items at all. You can just deselect them. I know a lot of people that do not use iCloud Mail. They use a Gmail account or whatever, but they're still using iCloud for all of the different services here. So all you have to do is just uncheck that, and you wouldn't be using your iCloud, whatever it is, danwasink@icloud.com or whatever it may be. You do not have to use that. If you want to optimize the Mac storage, you can do that. And what this will do, and this would tie in possibly what's going on with Chris when we talked a little bit about it earlier, what you can do with this is have the Mac automatically upload stuff into the cloud, and then it doesn't take up as much space on your Mac. Actually, Chris, that probably wouldn't have, because it would still show up on your Mac. You just would have to download it before you could open it up. If they're disappearing, it wouldn't. This is not what you were running into. But anyway, so with optimized Mac storage, what you can do with this is, like I say, if I have a lot of large files, what it will do is it'll store those large files, ones that I haven't used or anything like that, in the cloud, and then it'll free up space on my Mac. The nice thing about this is, if you have a small hard drive, it saves space. The con to it, I guess you could say, is you need internet connection to access any files that are stored in the cloud. So if you're not on the internet, you're not going to be able to access those files. You'll see it there, but what it needs to do is download it, and it's not going to be able to download it. So it has its pros and it has its cons, as everything does. On the iPad and iPhone, very similar here. We just go to our Settings app. So I have my Settings app here. And we go over to our iCloud. And then you're going to see iCloud here. And again, I have all of the same services here. Now here you're going to see I do have some third-party apps. So my iPad, I do have some other apps that are using iCloud. So you can turn these on and off. If I do not want to use, Spark, my email program, on my, you have it use iCloud to save space, you could just turn that off and it will not say, won't use iCloud to store any files. Might not work the way that you want it to. The whole idea with being in iCloud is now I can be on any device and access any of this data. So that's basically, how it works on the iPad, and same thing with the iPhone. So basically what I am doing is I am logged into all of these devices with the same email address. So I'm looking at, there's my mouse. Okay, there we go. With noteboomproductions@me.com. If we go over to my Mac, I'm logged in with Noteboom, or my iPad, I'm logged in with noteboomproductions@me.com. And then also on my Mac, I'm logged into noteboomproductions@me.com. So all these services are shared among these devices here. I turn any one off here, it's going to turn off on, if I turn like mail off here, let's go ahead and turn mail off. It does not turn it off on the other devices. So when I go over to my iPad or my iPhone, you're going to see I can still use iCloud Mail on my iPad. So we can turn these off on a device-by-device basis. So if you want to keep your photos on one device and not on another, all you have to do is just turn it off on the device that you don't want to use it on. So that's the basics of how we can share it among devices. Now
Can I ask a question, Dan?
What's that?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So if you are sharing, say, your calendar with your Mac, your iPad, your iPhone, if you put in somebody's birthday, is it going to show up 3 times?
No. Because
No?
you can only put an event in one calendar. I'll show you that because we're going to go into these individually next.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So I just wanted to cover the basics of how that works. The next thing we're going to look at is family sharing. So what we're able to do is share an account, an iCloud account, with up to 5 people. And I have this set up on my family sharing is set up this way. So I pay Apple $10 a month. I get 2 terabytes of storage space. And then what I can do is I share it with my wife, Beth. I share it with my mom. And then I also share it with Dan's tutorials here for my demo. So basically 4 people are on that account. When you do that, they cannot see each other's data. So they share that space, that 2 terabytes of space, but they cannot see each other's data. Everything is still separate. So Beth is not going to see what I have in my iCloud. I'm not going to see what she has in hers. I'm not going to be able to see what is in my mom's iCloud account. She's not going to be able to see what is in my iCloud account. So they're still all separate, but it does share the same space. So if I use 500 megabytes, my mom uses 300, and my wife uses 200, that means that I only have 1,000 terabytes left, or 1 terabyte left to use. So it does share among that. Pretty easy to set up. Let's go back over to my Mac. Essentially what you need to do, so I'm going to go back over to all my preferences here, and you're going to see we have family sharing. So now all I need to do is just click on this, and this is going to tell you what is shared with your family. This could vary depending on which iCloud account you're paying for. I'm paying for their, Apple has different tiers now, so I'm paying for everything. I get their fitness and all that. Not that I use it, but I get their fitness and all that kind of stuff. I'm signed into Paramount and Showtime with the Apple TV, so I can share that with, with my other family members. And it is up to the developer. So Showtime is allowing this to happen. So you may, it doesn't happen just blanket, all apps are shared. So it's up to the developer. So this is everything that I can share with my family. So if we go over to the right, you're going to see I have my family here. And here are all the people. So I have me, T. Daniel Wasink. I'm the organizer. We also have Beth. She's an adult. Well, maybe sometimes. We have Troy, which is my demo account. My first name is Troy, so I just call it. That's actually my dance tutorials. And then we have my mom, Phyllis Ann Smith. So basically, these are the 4 people that I'm sharing this with, and I can share it with up to 5 people. So I could add another person. To add another person, all you have to do is just go down to the plus here, and you can add that person. Now, the reason why I can't, you're going to see that this is grayed out. The reason why I can't add a person here right now is because I'm signed in as Troy. Dan is the organizer. So if I was signed in as Dan, then I'd be able to add another person. It's pretty straightforward. All you do is just click on the plus. If you're the organizer, only the organizer can do it. And again, I'm not signed in as the organizer. I'm signed in as Troy. Well, all you have to do is just click on the plus, enter in their name. It sends them out an invitation, and then they accept it. And once they accept it, they're going to be able to use your data. So you no longer, or Beth no longer has to pay for her own iCloud account anymore. My mom doesn't have to pay for her own iCloud account. It's all under my umbrella at that point. You can also, when you click on the plus, you can decide if they are an adult, parent, guardian, or a child. In my case here, we're all adults. But if we did have a child, then what you're able to do is manage it a little bit further, so you can put restrictions on it. With a parent or adult, if you sign them as a parent, what they are able to do then is manage that child. So you can manage the restrictions. But that's basically all there is to it. So I'm going to click on details here. And now you're going to see that my role is an adult. I have access to Apple Arcade, Apple Fitness, all this. And if I want to stop using it, I can stop using it. I'm just going to click on done. So that's all there really is to family sharing. One person has to purchase the iCloud Plus account, the paid account. And then after that, you just go into family sharing, and then you're able to share accounts. On the iPad and the iPhone, it works very similar. So we go over to our account here, and you're going to see family sharing. And when I click on family sharing, I can see all of the people. I can see what is shared. So you're going to see it's very similar to the Mac. And I can't add anyone to this because I am not the organizer. On the iPhone, you can imagine it's going to be similar. Tap on the name, and you're going to see family sharing. And there it all is. I want to look at me. You can see what my role is, what my email address, and what I have access to. So that's how family sharing works. It used to be a little bit more of a mystery to me. I don't know if Apple changed things or if I just finally figured out how to use it. But it seems to be pretty simple now. I'll be honest, a couple of years ago, I was like, that's why Beth had her own account, because I couldn't figure out how it all worked. But I probably didn't try. But that's pretty much it. Sign in, one person's the organizer, and then you can go and invite other people.
Can you figure out how much data each person is using? Does it show you somewhere?
Well, the data, okay, so let's go back over to my Mac here. So how much space they're using? It's a good question. I believe what you can do is go to iCloud here and manage the space here. We're going to see here. I can see how much each app is using. So we have 2,000 gigabyte, which is 2 terabyte. Family is using, oh, there it is. So the family, so yes, you can. So I click on family, and now I can see how much each person is using. Apparently, Beth is not using any space. So I probably have something configured on her phone wrong. That's what that's telling me. Wouldn't surprise me. So,
Hey, Dan, another question, if I may.
Yeah.
Is it possible for a husband and wife, each with their own Apple ID, to utilize family sharing on one iMac?
What you'd have to do on one iMac, no, you can only sign into an account on the Mac with one Apple ID. I think what you're asking is if you could sign into both, so she could see her calendars and you'd be able to see your calendars as an example, correct? Is that?
Yeah, basically.
Basically. What you'd have to do is create a separate account.
Yep,
And,
2 users.
Yep, through users and groups. And what I would recommend doing, I just created a video on this. If you were to do that, click on Login Items and enable fast user switching. So right now I'm in my Dan's tutorials, and if I want to switch to my other account, my real account, all I have to do is just go up to the menu bar here, and I go Dan Wasink.
Yeah.
I enter in my password. I'm in my account. Now I want to go back to the other account. I'm in the other account. So you can't use them both at the same time, but you can easily switch between them.
Right. So both accounts are independent of each other.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Actually, now that I forget that I can do this in this whole new setup that I have, I'm going to go back over to my account here. So this is my real account on here. And if I go to System Preferences, we go to Family Sharing, you're going to see, because I am now the organizer, I don't have my little cursor thing, so you're going to have to bear with me here. But here's where I can invite people. You can't see it down at the bottom, but down at the bottom here, because I have this resolution set, kind of strange. But basically, that's where I can invite people to use. I wish I could show you here, but I have it at a different resolution, so it's not showing. But basically, that's all you have to do.
Great, thank you.
Hide the dock.
Well, it was below the dock, so
Well,
yep.
And quick question.
Yeah.
Are you subscribed to, you said iCloud Plus for $10 a month? What's the difference between that and we have Apple Plus, which is, I guess, $30 a month. That includes all the same things that you were talking about, and you even have Paramount Plus. Is that something you have in your iCloud subscription?
Well, iCloud is separate, so iCloud is $10 a month. Oh, wait, no, I am paying $30. You're right, I am paying $30 a month.
Yeah, I was a little confused by
Sorry.
that.
Yes, sorry about the confusion. I am paying $30 a month. But Showtime and Paramount's Plus, that's completely separate. So I pay an additional, $6 a month or whatever. Yes, thank you.
Exactly.
I used to pay $10 a
also.
month.
I was like,
Such a deal.
All right. All right. So that's family sharing in iCloud. Now we're going to look at, I believe we're going to look at some of this stuff in a little bit more detail. So let's first look at how we do this in the calendar app. And this is this is where you're going to start seeing the patterns, because all of the apps basically work the same way. So what I'm going to do is open up my calendar app here. And the way that this works, if I want to create a shared calendar, all I have to do is I have to create a new calendar, and then I can invite people to that calendar. Once I invite them, they're going to get a notification, and then they can accept that, and lo and behold, you are sharing a calendar. And like I said earlier, what you do then is when you create an event, you apply it to that calendar, and an event can only be part of one calendar, and then it's going to be on both devices. You make a change to it, it'll reflect the change on the other one. So basically all we have to do is just go up under File, and then we go and create a new calendar. So this is...
Can you share your screen?
Oops. All right. Thank you. So I'm in my calendar app here. I need to delete this, and we're going to start over. All right. Delete. So essentially what we do is we just go up to File, and then we go over to New Calendar. When I create this calendar, I'm just going to call this my shared. Oops. Go and try that again. my shared calendar. So right now, it's just a calendar like anything else. You are going to see it has a little silhouette here, but what that means is that I can send out a link to it and people can there it is. I can send out a link to it, and what people can do is subscribe to that calendar. That's a one-way street. So they'll be able to see the events on it, but they will not be able to make any changes to it. So it's like a subscription, one-way street. But if you want to share with someone where they can make changes, then what you can do is type in a name here. So I'm going to go with my name, Dan Wasink at Mac. Remember, I'm logged in as Dan Wasink at Noblem Tutorials or Troy Wasink or whatever, different email account. So I'm going to log in or ask Dan if he wants to be subscribed to this. So right now it is red, and you're going to see it has a little question mark there. So right now it is just a shared, no, he didn't subscribe to it or anything like that. What I got now is an alert on my other account. So we're going to switch over to my other account, and you're going to see what happens here. Hopefully, let's, if I can get out of this thing here. There we go. Okay, cancel, quit. All right, so now I go into my calendar here, and in this little thing here, you're going to see it says, I tried this earlier, join the shared calendar. So all I have to do is just join this, or I can decline it, and when I join it, I now have that calendar in there. So let's go and create an event. We're just going to create it for Saturday and watch Beth run. She's doing a little 5K. I need to go and put it into my shared calendar. Again, I'm a subscriber to this, but I can post to it. And now when we go back over to my account, where is it? There we go. You're going to see my shared calendar when I double, there we go. Dan Wasink has a green check mark there. That means that he accepted it. And we should see my run in there, her run. I don't know where it is. Did I put it on the right date? I might have put it on a different date, and it's here. It's going, watch. Eventually what it'll do is it'll show up here. I'm surprised it's not there yet, because usually it's pretty quick. Let's go back over there. March 12. Oh, maybe because I didn't do that. There we go. So now we're going to quit. And when I go over to my thing here, you're going to see I just didn't close the window. There it is, watch Beth run. And take a look at what's on my iPhone here. I just got an alert on my iPhone. I subscribed to that calendar, and there's an event on there already. So it just happens kind of automatically. Now let's say I wanted to change this. I'm going to change this. So let's say, well, it's not actually at 9 a.m., it's at 8 a.m. So now she has to run at 8 a.m. Well, if I go back over to the other account, we won't do this through the whole thing because this might take a little bit of time switching back and forth. But I just kind of want to show you how it works. We go back over here, watch Beth run. You're going to see it's at 8 a.m. So it automatically, basically just switches or you synchronize between those two, or the event will be shared among those two people. And the key.
I'm sorry, I didn't see. Did you change it on one device?
I did, and I didn't switch my screen. Sorry. So what I did is I switched here to 8 a.m. Let's put it at 7 so you can kind of see. That'd be a little early for Beth. She's not an early morning riser, but we're going to do it. So now this is at 7 a.m., and when I go back over to the other account, you're going to see it says 7 a.m. I put this
Can
back
Beth
at...
initiate? Yeah.
Yep. So
Can Beth initiate that call or that
yep,
change?
absolutely, absolutely. So now I'm going to change it back to 8. Now let's just say Beth is like, no, it is at 8 o'clock. Well, if I go back over to my account and I touch there, you're going to see that this says 8 o'clock. So that event, 2 people can change that. And the key is right here, whoops, shared with. And you can share it with more people. So if I wanted to share this with someone else, I just go in here and start typing their name. They will get the invitation. Once they get that invitation, they can accept it and decline it. And then once they accept it, they'll be able to make changes, do whatever they need to do. And that's going to be the premise of this whole thing, when we go to these different apps. So that's how the Calendars app work. Let's go and take a look at how it works. I forget what the next one is. Reminders. So with the reminders, what Beth and I do is we have a grocery list that we share. So basically, to set this up, I go to my reminders here, and I create a new list. So let's go with groceries. I don't even have to create a new list. So I have a groceries list here. This is not shared. I want to share this now with the other person. I'm going to share it with that other account. So now I just go and click on this, and I can share. Choose how you want to share it. So I type in Dan, and we're going to go Wasink. Right now it's going to send it via email. Once I send this via email, if I were to log into my other account, I open up that email. Let's try this again. There we go. Maybe I'll just message it. So I could message it, and I would just send it to myself. And then once I click on that, I'll be able to access that just like I do with the events, with the calendar. Anything I put into this grocery list is going to be shared among both people. And again, you can share it with more people. When you share an event, you can also allow anyone to add more people. So if Beth wanted to share this with someone else, let's say you have a family, Beth would be able to share it, and then what that person will be able to do is join that list as well. So then all of a sudden you have 3 people joining that list and creating or working on that list. Let's see here, let's go next. With, I think it's Notes. Yep, Notes work the same way. So when I go over to my Notes app, I have my notes here, and it's not, these are folders here. I don't think I can share folders, so we can't share a folder, but what we can do is
Can we see your screen?
Thank you. So I'm looking at my notes here. And with the Notes app, what we are able to do is share a specific note. So let's go and create a new note. And this is a shared note. So we can't share a folder, but we can share a note. So I have a shared note here. To share it, what we do is we go up to the little silhouette here, click on it, and again, I can invite people. So let's go ahead and actually go through with this. I'm going to message this, and I can set if I want people to make changes or they can only view it. I want them to be able to make changes to it. Click on share. And we're going to go to Dan Wasink. I don't have myself in my... You should be able to go there. Open. There we go. Send. So now I just got a message in my Messages app. I'm not going to switch over there because I might have some personal email or personal messages. So I'm just going to go on my computer here. But now, well, let's see here. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, I'm good. So let's see what it looks like. close out of that. I have my messages here. And we should, there it is, there's my shared note. And all I have to do is just click on this. It's retrieving it. Open the shared note. It's going to open it up in the Notes app. And then, there's my shared note. I make a change here. If I go back over to my other account, we should see that change coming across here shortly.
So the key is going up to your top there and clicking on this the silhouette to change back and forth.
Mm-hmm. You can, yeah. Well, that's the key to showing you how it works between two different people. The key is clicking on this and sharing the note. So here I can manage it, and I can invite who I want. You're going to see that I did accept it. And now what I can do is view all the changes that they made or anything like that. The key, the whole key to making this thing work is finding where you have this little silhouette and then inviting people to share the note, to share the reminder. They will get an invitation. You're going to see there it is. There's my changes that I made. They will get an invitation. Once they accept that invitation, then they're going to be able to make changes. So in your case, Chris, what you could do is you could go to a note here and invite your husband. He's going to get an invitation. He accepts that invitation. I send it via messages here. If you send it via messages, he's going to get a message. He clicks on it. He says yes. Then what he's going to be able to do is access that note and make any changes to it. And you're also going to be able to access that note and make any changes to it. This little trick that I'm using up here, don't get confused with that, because that is basically how I'm switching between two different users. I really should rename these.
That was one of my questions: is that which silhouette do you click on?
Yeah, okay. Don't worry about that. That's just kind of showing you how it works from two different perspectives. I probably should rename this, to have a Johnny Appleseed account, so then I can kind of show, okay, so now Dan just got Johnny's. It's probably confusing because I'm using two names, my name twice. So the key is this guy right here. And if I go to my iPad and iPhone, it's the same way. So I go to Notes here, and let's see here. Let's go and create a new note. You're going to see up at the top here under More. Nope, that's not. Where is it? Why do I not see folders? See, that one is shared because it has the little silhouette guy. Let's try this again. Any tire, no matter what. Where's my shared? Let's see if it looks what it looks like on the iPhone. And all iCloud. Tap on New. And lines and grids. All right, I'm going to come back to that. I should be able to share this on the iPhone. You're going to see there it is. It did share it. So what is the story here? Maybe it is here. Okay, we got it. A little different than what I was thinking. They move things around on me again. All right, so I want to share on the iPad. I want to share a note. Let's say I wanted to share, we'll just create a new note, something. And I want to share this. What you need to do on the iPad is swipe over, and you're going to see that we have this little silhouette here. And then, very similar, all I have to do is set how I want to share it. Do I want them to be able to make changes, or do I want them to just be able to view it? If I want them to make changes, tap on that. If I want them view only, Tap on that. If they do make changes, do I want them to be able to invite anyone else? If I just want it between me and that other person, I'm the only one who can add other people. If I tap on that, other people will also be able to add other people. So, you can kind of grow it out from there. But that's basically it. You set your changes here, then you select how you want to share it. I did it via messages. And I send it, to whoever I want. Once they get that, they're going to accept it, and then they're going to be able to view that note. And in this case, they're going to be able to edit it and add more people. The iPhone,
And-
yeah?
On the iPad, you can also use those 3 dot more in order to save and share the folder, share the note. You can even share a folder, it says here.
Why do I thought that you could. Oh,
Yeah,
share a
in the
note
more
right there in
section
front of
of
me.
the note.
Okay, I thought that you could. There it is. So you can also share a folder, you're saying? So if I go,
Yes, if you go into notes and you're in a particular folder, tap on the folder and tap on the 3 dots.
And that should get you there.
Dan, I think you cannot do the notes folder. I think it has to be a folder
folder,
within the
a
notes. So if
folder
you look
in
at your
notes.
documents folder there, if you look at documents, it looks like that's a shared folder.
yeah.
Or
it
let's
is.
say open travel. Mhm.
It is. Okay, thank you. Shared
Yeah.
folder. Add people. There it is. Then they'd be able to create separate notes. So how did I do that? That's the question. So I have that folder there. Ding, ding, ding. Oh, share folder.
Right
There it
there,
is.
share folder.
Yep. And any folder that is shared is going to have that little silhouette icon there. Sorry about that. I missed that. So
Can you go over the grocery list again on the Reminders app?
Yeah.
And how to share it there?
yeah. So let's go back over to my Mac, and we're going to go into
Maybe
reminders.
from your iPad. That's what I was
Oh,
looking
yeah,
at.
yeah, from the iPad. I didn't show you how it works on the iPad, so we're looking at my iPad here, yep. So basically, I go into my reminders here, and my groceries, there it is. I go to my 3 dots. I can share this list, and from here, I can set how I want it to be shared. So do I want anyone to be able to add people? If this is between Beth and I would just go turn that off, so then she can't, not that she would, but now she's not going to be able to share it with anyone. But I can still share it with her, and I just go to, the way that I would do that is messages, and I would type in here Beth, and now if I were to send that out, she'd be able to accept that, and then it would show up in her reminders list. The groceries, that grocery list that I created here would show up in her reminders list. Anything that she adds to it will show up in this list. Anything that I add to it will show up in her list. If I mark an item as purchase, I purchased coffee, it would show up on her, in her reminders list, that it was purchased.
Thank you.
Yep. And if we go to, let's, so this one here, Aaron's, is shared. So if I click on that, you're going to see up here it says it's shared. So this particular list is shared with someone, and then I can click on this. I can manage that shared list. And from here I can add more people. I can go and change the share options. So if I just want to make sure that only I can add it, I can do that. Or I can go and let anyone add it. And then I can copy the link and send it to other people. So I could copy that link and email it or whatever, and then if they click on it, they'll be able to manage it as well, that particular list. If I want to remove someone from it, all I have to do is just click on it, and then you're going to see remove access. And then if I click on OK, they will no longer have access to it. It doesn't delete the list, but it does remove their access to it. Same thing if I go to the Notes app here and Documents. This is a shared folder. So I go up here to manage that shared folder. and I want to remove Dan, I click on remove. And if I were to click on OK, it wouldn't delete the note, but what it would do is remove access to that, so that other person would no longer have access to it. On the iPhone, very similar. We go back to our folders. You're going to see it does have the little silhouette. There's my cursor here. Does have the little silhouette there, and what I'm able to do when I click on the three, actually you're going to see I have the little silhouette here, then I can go and manage it from there. So I can stop sharing it. I can invite other people. So like I say, you know, the whole thing is you're going to see a pretty consistent pattern here on how all this works. You invite someone, you set your options. Do you want them to be able to just view only, or do you want them to be able to edit it? Do you want them to be able to share with other people? Set those options. Once you get it all set up the way that you want, then all you have to do is just go and invite other people. They'll get that notification and they just subscribe to it. And at that point, it automatically adds it to all of their devices. And then they'll be able to, you know, work with those notes or reminders or whatever it may be.
Dan? Mm-hmm. I'm having a problem with notes, particularly with it updating on my other devices. Is there a way to trigger the update?
What I would do with something like that is on the device that it is not updating, I would go and turn it off in the in iCloud here. I would just go and turn it off and then turn it back on. You're going to notice that it says delete from my iPhone. It's not going to delete all of your messages. What it's going to do is delete them from the iPhone, and then when I turn it back on, it'll re-add them back in. So that's what I would do.
We use the notes for a shopping list, and my husband doesn't always get my updates.
Right.
So I'm not sure why it's not doing that. And it's kind of a regular issue.
I don't know. I don't know why that would be. I mean, with Beth and I, we use the reminders app for our grocery list. I don't use the notes app. But
Does it have to be the same Apple ID?
No, because we have a shared folder.
Yeah, it's a shared folder.
Okay.
So nope, it shouldn't.
But the updating can be done via cellular or Wi-Fi. So if one person is out of the house, the other one's using Wi-Fi, there's going to be a lag in the syncing.
So what Steve's talking about here, when I go to cellular, and the whole key to making these things sync is exactly what they have to get on the network. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that the Notes app can use cellular. So you're going to see that if I have this off,
Right.
the only way that that's going to update is if it's on Wi-Fi. So I guess, check that as well. There's little things that you can check there.
Yeah, I'm even having problems just having it update to my iPad. I did a bunch of date changes, and it wouldn't update to my iPad until I did the delete, close everything down, and then update, and it did then. But that was kind of a long solution.
Right. The next thing I would do is, let's just say you're having a problem. You type in something in your grocery list in the Notes app, and it's on yours. See if it's on all of your other devices. This is the process that I would run through in my head. See if it's then we know that your account is fine. So the next thing is why is it not sharing with your husband? So if it's not on one device, does he, maybe log into iCloud.com if he doesn't have a Mac or whatever, and see if it's in iCloud. If it's in iCloud but not on his device, then we know it's something with his device. If it's not on either one, then we know it's not necessarily the device. We know it's something with iCloud. Where the two aren't connecting. The shared folder isn't connecting with his account. Does that make sense?
That's great. Thank you. That's very helpful to have a process of troubleshooting.
Yeah, and that's a process that I would go, and if it still doesn't work, let me know. But we have to figure out where that disconnect is. So
great. We'll try that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Dan?
Yeah.
I'm sitting with my laptop as well as my iPad. I'm signed into iCloud. I've got a lot of things checked, including notes. I was trying to follow you. So what I don't see is when I click on notes in iCloud, which is green, which means I'm in iCloud and looking. I can't see where to find that to share.
Well, you have to go into the Notes app. So I'm in the Notes app here.
Okay, I go into the Notes app
And now,
on iCloud when I'm signed into iCloud.
yeah. So you're going to see I have iCloud here. And basically what you'll want to do is select one of these, and then you're going to be able to share that. No, let's see here. Let's try share that folder. I don't know why I can't share that. Oh, I have to go up here. Share. So up
Okay,
here.
I'm in iCloud Notes, but I don't see that list that you have on the left. All I see in mine is
That's
whole
going to
bunch of
be
notes.
View here, hide folders. So what you want to do is go up under View and show the folders. And now you're going to see
on the
folders.
iPad.
On the iPad,
I don't see View.
that
I just see a list of my notes, but not a place
right.
to share. Like you have iCloud Notes Travel.
So I'm
or
just
that-
dragging this with my finger right on that horizontal line. So right on this line here, what I'm doing is I'm dragging this. So
I've got an up-to-date iOS, and I
do you
see that.
do you see that? Is that what you see?
Yeah.
So now just go to the very left edge and swipe over. And it should show all those folders.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't swipe over to the from the left.
Yep, no problem.
Okay, thank
That's
you.
all those gestures. They're you see me
Yeah.
fumbling around too. So don't it just and I've been using these things for a long time. So all right, let's
That's simple, but to know that it even exists, it's
right.
like,
Yeah. No, I totally agree. All right, let's take a look at sharing photos. Photos works a little bit different. I mean, it works the same, but it's a little different. So now what we're going to do is go into my Photos app here. And over on the left, you're going to see we have, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger here. What we have here is shared albums. I need to restart my enable, disable. It's not zooming in. Let's quit that so you can kind of see cursor. This is my, there we go. All right, so I have here shared albums. And essentially what I can do with any of these albums here is share any photo or video. When I mention photos, it is photos and videos. So just because I talk about photos doesn't mean it's not videos. But basically what I can do is share any of these folders with anyone else along the same line of how it worked before. You're going to see we have the little dude up here again. So basically, I just go and create, I go to my library here, and let's go and select some photos here. So I have these selected. I want to create a new folder with this, a new shared folder. So I go to Shared, and then you're going to see Shared Albums. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to share this with a shared album. So like I say, it roughly works the same. Just we can do a little bit more with albums, with photos. So there's another step to it. So I go to Shared Albums. Now what I can do is I can add this to an existing shared album. So I have a number of shared albums here. So let's say I wanted to share this in my UP. I just click on that. And then anyone that is subscribed to that album is going to see these photos. But also what you can do is create a new shared album. So let's just go with new UP pics. And from here, I go and invite people. I can click on the plus, or I can just start typing names. So I just, Dan, and we'll go with Dan Wasink at mac.com. I could invite Beth, and it'll send her a notification. I can put a comment in here, and then once I create this, new pics. Once I create this, it adds it over to my folder here, or my albums. So I click on it. There's my folders. When I click on the little silhouette here, we can see who I invited. They both have question marks, which means that they have not accepted them yet. So once they accept them, so I'm going to open up my Photos app. I'm going to accept that invitation, and you're going to see that this will change. Let's see here. Shared with you. Activity. And I accept it. And now you're going to see on my phone, it told me that I accepted it. So we're getting there. It does take a little bit for it to all work, but you're going to see that it does accept that. And now when I go back over to my Mac, I should see, eventually this is going to show that Dan accepted it. And then what he's going to be able to do is add pictures to this folder, and it will show up in my folder. Anything that I do add is going to show up in activity, so I can see all of the activity between all of my shared folders. So I just click on this, and here's all the activities. Here's what I've done recently. I shared 3 pics. These are going to be in the new UP folder. On Saturday, I shared 5 photos. And Beth Wassink joined Disney, so it tells me that she is now part of this folder here. So I just click on that, and if I go up here, you're going to see that Beth is in there, although it doesn't show that it's accepted here, but she did accept it. And now all of a sudden you have a shared folder where your shared album where you can share your photos and albums. I delete something in here, it's going to delete it from everyone else. It's a shared album. I add something in here, and to add something, the easiest way that, if you're using photos is to just drag it in there. So I could go to this here and just drag it, and now it's going to add it to that album, and whoever subscribed to that is going to see that album in their activity here, as well as in that album itself. On the...
Dan, a quick question.
Yeah.
The person who you're sharing the picture with, does that picture wind up in their library too?
It can, yes. So I'll show you how that works. So let me add a new UP Pics. I'm going to add a photo to that. So let's go with, let's see here. Let's go. I gotta get out of it.
Can we see your screen?
Well, I'm on my real account, so you can't see that.
Oh, okay, I get it.
It's all my personal photos, so I don't want to, Beth is in there and friends are in there and all that, so I try to stay away from sharing that kind of stuff. But now what you're going to be able to see here is it will add it to that album, and it's going to show up on the iPad here. Here's my new UP Pics. And this is the photo that I just shared. So it shows up automatically. On the iPhone, you're going to see that if we look at my iPhone here, it did show that I have a new photo there. So now I can just swipe up and I can go to Photos here. And when I go to that album, whoops, go to For You. There's the photo that I added, and I can tap on it to open it up. If I go back over to my Mac, my favorite one, what you're going to see is For You again. And there's the activity. So this is like an activity feed. So think of like Facebook, anything like that, where this is just a feed of all the photos and everything that's been added. So if you really want to see what has been added among different albums, all you have to do is just go over to the For You. On the Mac, you're going to go to Activity. So it's a little bit different on the Mac. So I go to Activity here, and then you're going to see all of the photos. So it works a little bit different on the Mac. On the iPad and the iPhone, it's called For You. On the Mac, it's called Activity. Now, as far as will it be in my album, If I go, let's see here, to ding, 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 show holiday events. It doesn't show it there. What you can do is view, let's see here, it should show, I believe it shows, it's not showing it. I had this problem the other day when I did a photos thing. My Mac here is not syncing with my iCloud exactly. So I'm not sure why that's going on. But what you can do is if you want to view all of your shared folders, I'll just go with this for now. I believe it does show in your albums here, because when I try to delete something, it'll say this is shared, and it'll actually tell me who it's shared by. So I believe it does do that. But in the meantime, until I can confirm it, what you'll do is if you go to activity, you can see all of your different photos, the ones that have been shared with you as well as the photos that you shared. Any activity is in there. Library, it should show in there because I believe there was a setting where you can actually tell it, oh, there it is. So it will. This is what I was looking for. In the library, what you can do is you can set it to show your photos only or yours and shared. So if I go to my photos only, you're going to see that it is missing. There were some other photos in here. Now I want to view my photos and the ones that were shared with me. I select this. Now it's showing me both of those. So it's showing me photos that are in my library and photos that have been shared with me. It does put them in chronological, or puts them into the date that the photo was taken. So it's by the creation date or when the photo was actually taken. So they're intermixed in here somewhere. But yes, it does put them in the library. But if you don't want to have them in the library, you want to have the library just be your photos, you can go and change that by going up to View and changing it there. On the iPad and the iPhone, I can only assume I did not check, so we're going to see how, if I'm right here. If I go to my Settings app and we go to Photos, you're going to see Shared Albums, so we need to turn that on. It does not show that, so apparently we can't do that on the iPad and the iPhone. But on the Mac, we can select if we want to show only our photos or the ones that are shared. When we share an album, let's take a closer look at that with shared albums, because we do have a few more options with that. When we're looking at a shared album here, if we go up to the little silhouette, what we can do is we can set if we want people to be able to post to it. So this is checked. That's why the other person was able to add that photo to it. If I deselect this, they're not going to be able to add any photos. It's that one-way street again. I can add photos to it. They're going to be able to view them, but that's all it's going to be. They're not going to be able to add photos. With public website, when you turn this on, it's going to generate a link here, and then I can share that link. And it's going to be just a random link, not anything that anybody's going to be able to guess. But you share that link, and then other people will be able to view that album. Again, they're not going to be able to add anything to it, but what they will be able to do is at least share that link or view the photos in it, view photos and videos. So one-way street again. It's basically just like turning this off. So if you know somebody that's on a PC or something like that, that's what you would use the public website for. Eventually what I'm going to see here is a place where I can copy that link. This is where the link will show. And then if I want notifications, I showed you that when I add a photo or something like that, it shows up on my iPhone, those notifications. If you do not want to receive those notifications, if you don't want to see when somebody added a photo or anything like that, you can go and turn your notifications off. And that's all that does. So those are the different options. You can also resend invitations or remove them. So let's just say that, with Dan here, what I'm able to do is remove them so they're no longer going to be able to view the album. And then you can also resend the invitation. Maybe they didn't accept it yet. Well, you can go and resend it. They're going to get a new notification saying, please accept this, and then they're going to be able to view it.
Is there a way to send I have an album that has like 100 pictures in it that I want to send to somebody, and then I want them to have it, it can be their own. I don't want to see it again. Is there a way to do that?
Okay, so you basically, the shared album would not do that.
No.
So essentially, you're not going to be able to see what I'm doing here, but I want to make sure that I can do it before let's see here. Or can I add this to my library? And now, okay, so what you would have to do then is basically take these. You are looking at my computer, right? I need to, yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically what you can do is you can take these, you can do a few different things with it. So you share the album, they can drag it down here, put it on their desktop, and when they put it on the desktop, those 4 images are there, and then they can do with them what they want. They can add them to their library or anything like that. You can also take them and just drag them over to the library, and you're going to see we have the little plus there, and now it just added them to the library. So I believe, let's see if I can add these to a new album. We're going to try this. So I go and this is just going to be a straight new album with the selection. So I can do that as well. So I can just create a new album with that. And it's going to import, because these are shared, what it will do is it'll import these in. That's what it's telling you here. So let's say Beth shared a couple of photos with me. They're going to be in that shared album, right?
Okay.
Then what I do is I create a new album, which is what I did here. And now what it's saying is it's just going to import, do you want me to import those in? Because those are Beth's photos. I want to import those into my library, and I would just say yes, and it'll do it. Now, the reason why I'm not going to do that is because they're duplicates. But, if Beth were to send me photos or something like that, they wouldn't be duplicates, and I would just say, yeah, import them into my library. And then they're in my library. They're not in, they're outside of that shared folder. So,
But
yes,
let's say
you
those
can do that.
were taken 2 years apart, and you import them to your library. It's going to put them 2 years apart, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, so it kind of bury them.
Yes, yes, it does. Yep.
Yes. Can you just tell me now? All right, so I have an album, not in a shared album, but just in the regular album. Now, can you tell me that again? I can take that and I can send it to someone, and what do they do to?
So let's say I wanted to share these tulip photos. All I have to do is I select them,
Yes.
right? They're in my regular album. They're not in a shared album or anything like that. Now I just go up to the share, and I go to shared albums. I want to create a new one. These are tulips. And I don't think I have Chris. I'd be able, if I had, this is my demo account, so I don't have her information, but I'd be able to send this to Chris. Chris would accept it, and it would show up in her library automatically. Then what she would be able to do is go to that library.
Library as an
I'm sorry,
album?
they would go in the shared album. She would go into this shared album under shared albums, and then she could take these if she thought they were good enough and she wanted to save them. What she'd be able to do is select them all, and she's in her photos album, and then she creates a new album with those, and it's going to import those in to her album, and then they're going to be in her library.
Okay, in an
Got it?
album. Mm-hmm. Thank you. I've only wanted to do that for about 7 years.
Let me know how it goes.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at sharing files. You can also share files with people in iCloud. And again, it works very similar. So I'm going to go to my Mac here. And the first thing we need to do is we need to go to iCloud Drive. You're going to see that I actually have a shared folder here. This is what this is. This is a shared folder in iCloud. And I'm sharing it. This is how I share files between my 2 different accounts. So how did I set this up? Well, you just go to iCloud Drive. I'm going to create a new folder. Let's just call this test shared. We'll get real creative, right? And then when you control click on it, what we have here is share. So now what I'm able to do is share this folder. And again, how do I want to share it? I want to send it via messages. So if I wanted to share this with, I'll pick on Steve. I wanted to share this folder with Steve. First thing is who can access it? People that I invite. So right now it's only going to be people that I invite. So I invite Steve, I invite Chris. Once they accept it, they're the ones that are going to be able to access it. Nobody else can. But I can also make it with anyone with a link. So if you just wanted to have this just be a random folder where anybody can access it, if they have that link, you can do that. So that's more of a public folder. People I invite are going to have to accept it, and it's more of a private folder. So you have public and private. So I'm just going to go with people I invite. Do we want them to be able to add more people? So if I send this out to Steve, he accepts it. He wants to send it out to Chris or somebody else, he'd be able to do that. So you can, they'll, basically create a shared folder. Once you do that, once you send that invitation out and they accept it, essentially what's going to happen is you're going to have a shared folder here. And I have, where did that go? So this folder here is shared. And we can tell it's shared because it has these little guys on it. And when I open it up, there's all the files. So anybody that I'm sharing this folder with is going to be able to access these files. To manage this, I just click on it, and then we should be, there it is, share. I want to manage it. And now I can set who has access to it. I could invite Steve to this, and he'd be able to access these files. I could invite Chris. I can set who, if I want to make it public, I could just click on this. And then if I share that link, I copy this link and put it in the chat for this webinar, everyone here would be able to open up that folder and view everything in it because you do not have to, accept the invitation or anything like that. So it's more public and that's more private. Cancel. I'm just going to click on anyone with a link. Yeah, I do want to change that. Invite only. So now if I want to stop it, I can do that as well. On the iPad and the iPhone, the way that we do that is through the Files app. And we go over to iCloud. You're going to see I have my Untitled folder here. So now, if I control click on it, what we're able to do is share it. And when I say control click, I use the control. I do have a keyboard. I should remember that. A lot of people don't have a keyboard. So if you tap and hold on it, if you do not have a keyboard, you can just tap and hold on it. And then you're going to see share. And again, how do I want to share it? Share folder in iCloud. Do I send a message? What are my share options? Only people with the link. Do I want to make it public? Do I want anyone else to be able to add more people? So it basically works the same way. And when I go to my phone, again, we go to Files, and we're going to go to that same Untitled. I long press on it because I do not have a keyboard for this. We go to Share. I need to share this in iCloud, and there are my same options again. So as you can see, they kind of work all the same way. Little minor differences, but it pretty much works the same way. So with, I believe, okay, viewing shared items. So this is new in Mac OS Monterey, iPad, and iPad OS 15 and iOS 15. This is kind of a cool little feature. What you can do is view what has been shared with you via messages. So now we're going to shift gears a little bit. Still talking about sharing, but shifting gears just a little bit. So in my Messages app, what happens, and I believe probably happens with everyone, we get all of these different photos, videos, all that kind of stuff. You're going to see here are 3 photos, here are 5 photos. So if you want to find something, you just got to keep going back. There I am with longer curly hair. You just kind of got to dig for it. Well, what Apple added is shared with you. Anything that was shared with you via the Messages app, I shouldn't say anything, but any news item, you'll be able to find in the News app. Photos or videos, you're going to be able to find in the Photos app. If it is a link, you're going to be able to find it in Safari. So I have all these photos here. I have to dig through them. I would rather find them in the Photos app. So now all I have to do is just go over to the Photos app. There it is. And you're going to see we have shared with you. Again, Monterey iOS 15, iPadOS 15. Any previous versions are not going to see this. And now all I have to do is just click on this, and there are all my photos that are shared with me. So I can easily see all those photos. I don't have to go through that message and look for them. I don't have to go through each conversation and look for it. I just double click on it, and we can see that this is from Dan. So I can actually see who it is from as well. I click on that, and it takes me over to that conversation in the Messages app, and I can go and reply to them. So, oh, that's a really cool photo. All I have to do is just click on it, click on this, takes me over Messages, and I can type my message in there. Let's take a look at shared with you with links. There are various links in there as well. Somebody sent me some website links. Well, instead of digging through them in the Messages app, what I can do is go to Safari here, and when we show the sidebar, you're going to see that shared with you again, and there's all the links. So these are the ones from Dan, and these are the ones from Dan. So I say I should really change this name. Maybe I'll work on that. I'd be able to say these are the ones from Johnny. These are all the ones from somebody else. So now what you're able to do is view all of those different links. You can do the same thing on the iPad and the iPhone. So on the iPad, if I go to my Photos app, we have For You. I believe it's under For You, and I should be able to see, there it is, shared with you. And here are all the photos. I can see who they're from. I want to see all of them. And there they all are. Open it up. I can see it's from Dan. I click on this. It's going to open it up in the Messages app, and I can reply to them. Safari. Show the sidebar. Shared with you. There are the links. Click on it to open it up. On the iPhone, Photos app, I go to my For You. You're going to see it's down here at the bottom. And then when I swipe up, we should be able to see shared with you. Let's try it again. It should be under Memories, Featured Photos. It's not showing up there.
I see it under Featured Photos.
Did I miss it? Oh, you see it under what?
There's a section on my iPhone that's titled Featured Photos, and then right below that I see Shared.
Right, it should be below that. I don't know why it's not showing up there. We're going to go to Safari, but that's where it would show. And I'm going to go to Safari here. And if we tap on, where are my bookmarks here? It'll show up. It should show up. I don't know. I got something going on here. Oh, bookmarks. There it is. So it will show up under your bookmarks here under shared with you. Again, my iPhone apparently is not connecting up properly. But that's where it would show up in Safari as well. So now what you're able to do is view the different items. Instead of viewing them in the Messages app, you can now view them in the respective apps. You want to view photos that somebody sent you. So my niece just had a baby in December. She's sending all kinds of photos, of course. Well, instead of digging through that conversation, I can now go and find those within the Photos app. And it'll say shared from Maddie. And I can view all those photos in the Photos app. My brother might send me some text links. He's a programmer and sends me links on PHP or Python or whatever. And, I can find all of those within Safari under shared with you instead of digging through all that in the Messages app. Again, macOS Monterey and iPadOS 15 and iOS 15 and above, going forward. But if you're using an older version, you will not be able to access those shared with you. And as you can see, it does have its bugs. So it's notwithstanding when everyone here talks about, well, I can't do that. I run into the same thing, and I'll have to figure out why my iPhone isn't doing that. It might be probably it's just something as simple as a reboot for me. Sometimes that works. And then all of a sudden it'll go. I know that's how it worked for me on my Mac earlier when I gave a presentation on Saturday, and everything all kind of went well, but I was, again, having syncing issues. I restarted my computer, and lo and behold, everything all worked. It's my worst fix. I just don't think you should have to restart it, but you do, and it does work a lot. So I will restart my phone, and it'll probably start working. So that's the shared with you, and I believe we are at the end here. Oh, sharing purchases from the App Store. I'll make this real quick, because really, if you use family sharing, you don't have to worry about this too much. This is more of old school kind of thing. Before shared with you, everyone should always have their own Apple account, Apple ID. You should never ever share an Apple ID, because all of a sudden, what's going to happen is the reminders are, everyone's going to be all your information is going to be shared with that other person, and it never ever should do that. But purchases, what you can do that on the purchases. So if I go to my iPad and I go to my store settings, so I go to settings here and we go to the App Store. Sorry, it's under Media and Purchases, it's under iCloud. They moved it on me. Basically, under Media and Purchases, you're going to see that it says danwasink@mac.com. Anything that I purchase on this iPad is going to use my danwasink@mac.com. It's not going to use this account to purchase it. So you can set up purchasing under a different account. You just go up under here, and I would sign in, and then I'd be able to set up purchasing. But if you use family sharing, which I would recommend, I'm just under this old way of doing it. If you use family sharing, what you can do is you can share all the purchases as well. With the organizer, everything would go under, all the purchases go under the organizer. They wouldn't have to enter in their information or anything like that. So now I think that is it. Yes, we are done. Anyone have any questions? I know we went through a few of the questions here. I am looking at the chat here. So, yeah.
Yeah, Dan, if you got a little bit of time, but it isn't about sharing.
Well, let's save that for the AMA. I want to kind of I don't want to turn this into an AMA, ask me anything.
I understand. It's just, I may not get into the AMA. This iPad's having some problems. So I'm just trying to understand whether it's this VPN or whether it's not having the new operating system, but you're saying it's not the new operating system.
My guess, it's not the operating system, in all honesty. I mean, iOS 14 is good, and I haven't heard of any issues with it. VPNs, I'm relatively new to VPNs. It could be that. What you could do with that is delete the app and see, delete the VPN and see if
I didn't even add it. It just is on.
I don't know why.
Okay, so that's okay, because obviously you don't have much time. I will try to answer those questions, but when you send out the notice of the meeting, when I log in, it says that there's no more opportunities to ask questions. So it says it's already filled up.
Just email me, because I try to limit those questions. Okay. So we can kind of keep the pace going. So
Okay.
All right. Next week, I will be having an AMA, Ask Me Anything. So that will be at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time next week. You're all welcome to join me. I should have this video up and running tomorrow.
Are you guys not going on daylight savings time? That's for
Is that-
California. It's Sunday. We
it?
switched this coming Sunday.
Oh, yeah. No, we will. Then we will. Okay, so it'll be Eastern Daylight Saving Time. Yes. So, yeah. It'll still be the
Won't
3
be able to
hours,
make it.
3 hours from
Won't be able to
you.
make,
So,
won't be able to make next Thursday, Dan.
and then the following Thursday, I think, yeah, following Thursday, I'll have something scheduled, and then after that, the following Thursday, we're going to be out of town. So, but then I'll be back the following week. So, thank you, everyone, and yeah, have a good weekend. It's supposed to warm up over here over the weekend. So, all right,
Thank you.
thanks. I'll have this up and running tomorrow.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.